hard is it to dub an anime? Huh?
I sound like Muscle Man.
As two people with zero professional voice acting experience, we just wanted to know, how does it feel to deliver anime lines? Never heard of it.
How hard is it to create a voice for a character? No, I don't even know who that was.
How hard is it to sync mouth movements? People nowadays... And how much strain does that really put on an untrained voice?
I feel like I put a lot of strain on it.
Today, as two complete amateurs, we are going to attempt to dub an anime scene, to answer some of these questions, and to experience some of these challenges firsthand. To see how hard it is to take risks, to create a voice, and to do all of that while still meeting the standards and expectations of today's dub audience. We've chosen this specific anime because as of this recording, a dub for this series does not exist. And we don't want to be influenced or especially take away from another VA's performance.
There are and have always been incredibly talented voice actors within the space that breathe new life into the characters that we love.
This is not an audition, and it's not an attempt to take away from all the hard work being done in the industry. This is just supposed to be a fun video done by two people who are interested in the process of voice acting.
These are funny sounds.
This video is basically just that scene from the menu.
You're a cook. Oh, I don't know if I can cook. Here. Cook. Now? Cook. I don't cook.
Today's video is brought to you by Stacked. Stacked is a free social video platform where communities can watch, react, and comment on videos together.
Stacked is truly a fun and unique way to watch videos that adds to the overall community experience.
Think of it as a watch-along or a watch party. On Stacked, your comments will appear across the screen in real time. And there's even an audience bar for you to see how many people have watched the video with you, adding to that community and watch party experience. We're really excited to be partnering with Stacked, and we've already uploaded multiple videos from our channel, old and new, for you to watch and react to together. There's even exclusive content on Stacked from this very episode.
So make sure to join us and check it out for yourself.
It's completely free to sign up to. All you gotta do is click the link in the description below and use code VOLUME1 to sign up.
You don't gotta be stacked to get stacked. All you gotta do is click the link below to find out more.
It really is so much fun, and I encourage everybody to try it out for themselves. Not to mention that every person that signs up using our invite code directly helps us and this channel. So again, huge shout out to Stacked. Now let's get right into the video. Now let's go through the process we'll be going through throughout this video. First, we're gonna look at some examples of other dubs. Then we're gonna dissect the scene and the characters, record the dialogue, put it all together in post-production, and after all that, we will present to you the final result. And at the very end of the video, we'll talk about what we learned and ask you how we did. Okay, first let's look at some examples of other dubs. All right, so this is a clip comparing the 2019 Netflix dub to the 1997 dub of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Won't we have problems if we fall in the ocean?
We'll just avoid falling.
If we fall into the ocean, we're done for.
Then we won't do that.
Oh.
You've gotta be kidding me! We're in the middle of an emergency right now! Who gives a damn about your procedures? This is an emergency!
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, so specifically with Shinji in the Netflix dub, I really enjoy that voice actor. I think that they're great. I think that they both sound like similar, but in different ways. And with Asuka, I mean, a lot of comments that we got were like, Asuka in the OG 1997, it was her and Misato that people were like, dang, you missed out on one of the best performances. You missed out on like the craziest performances ever. And when I hear Asuka in the 1997 version, she really does sound like a little woman. And I think with her character, that makes so much sense because she's trying, without really succeeding that much, to be like a woman, like to outgrow herself and to not be a child anymore, not to be seen as a child. So her voice being different in that way, I think adds a lot to her. Going back to the 2019 version, I think that her voice sounds a bit more childish, and that works completely when she is acting that way with Shinji, with her classmates being kind of a brat. You know, it's so fun to like compare them and kind of speculate as to like why certain choices were made, because everyone and every actor is able to represent this character by bringing a little piece of themselves in what they do. And that's what they tell, you in acting class. Like you're playing this character, but you have to like in some way, some aspect include this, a large sliver, a small sliver. If you relate to them, if you don't relate to them, how can you relate to them? Like, and I think that's why it's so fun to watch these two dubs, because they just bring themselves. This is all opinion. Art is subjective, and performance is subjective, and nostalgia plays a huge part in things. These two casts are iconic in different ways, and I think they bring a lot to the table. So it's just you can experience a story in different ways and in different performances.
I mean, I have a preference when it comes to Shinji, a bias when it comes to Shinji, but Asuka and Misato, I'm kind of going back and forth on. All right, so now we're gonna look at One Piece, the 4Kids dub versus the Funimation dub.
You don't think this is another time warp, do you?
Maybe this time the sky is just falling.
Bro.
No way. This ain't rain. That's interesting. It looks like a... Oh.
A lot of people don't like Sanji's voice, and I love it because I think that for me, and again, it could be nostalgia, it could be all these things, but I think it does fit that character in this arc that we meet him and in these arcs that we get to spend with him. It sounds so unique. If I had a fucking blindfold on and I heard that voice, I would know immediately who it is.
Yeah.
It's so unique and it feels so specific to this character. I know in the 4Kids dub, it's a lollipop, not a cigarette, but I feel like I can almost even hear the cigarette hanging out of his mouth when he's talking. I don't know.
You definitely have a case of the nostalgia, because it would be insane if he sounded like that of all of them. Like if he's in Wano right now and he's like, "Hey ladies,
and I'm gonna fight Queen with this Germa technology. Hey Morset, where'd you put my raid suit?"
This is what happens when we talk about it. He just then goes on for an hour to do
more
4Kids Sanji.
It's hard to talk about this for me personally sometimes without it coming across like I am taking away from the current VA's performance, which I never intend to do. I just do feel like Sanji felt unique and felt different, and in the current dub, he feels like another anime guy in a lineup of anime guys. And previously, he stood out. He stood all the way out, maybe too much out for a lot of people. But again, that's why I liked it. And that's why I still like it, nostalgia or not. All right, now we're going to look at the Lucky Star dub. And for this example, we're going to compare the sub to the dub. These actors inject so much personality into these characters. So let's watch and compare these two.
And then I told Dad I won because of him, and how I thought he was amazing now, and that made him happy. If I was him, I would have been pissed.
I love how much they're able to use the original sub, like the original Japanese, and really keep the same essence but add their own twists. And I think that's so important when it comes to dubbing the anime, because it sounds almost very, very similar. The personalities are coming through. I could feel all of them. They all sound different. They all sound unique.
Very unique, each and every
you
one.
You know who's talking when they're talking. It's not like a kind of a Mod Podge of oh wait, if I'm looking at my computer and it's on in the background, I know exactly who's talking. I just feel like they're able to take liberties when it comes to the script sometimes. Just the change of that would have made me mad to that would have really pissed me off. Just for someone who speaks English is an added element of this is really adding to the comedic.
Puts the punch in that line.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it makes me laugh even harder than if it's oh, I would have been really mad at you. But I think here they did a great job.
Yeah, this is an exceptional dub in I think both of our opinions. And so we just wanted to look at all of these clips to kind of get a better sense for some of the choices being made, to kind of better understand what direction we might want to attempt to go in. And to see what happens. All right, now it's time to watch the scene that we'll be dubbing.
私だってこの漫画みたいなドキドキの恋がしたかった。でも無理なの。私の体じゃ。だから死ぬの。構わないで。
Menace.
私の体に触れると、不治の病気に感染して、こんな体で生きててもいいことない。だから死ぬの。
皮膚感染で死に至る病気聞いたことねえな。いいね。どうだ結構触ったぜ。何が起こるどこかが痛む外か内か
来るよ。
えは
And scene.
And scene.
That's where we're going to end it. We want to keep it kind of on the shorter side, copyright reasons, and just so we don't put too much strain on our voice, which I still feel like I am going to definitely do. I'm going to lose my voice by the end of this. I already know it.
Yeah.
You feel like you kind of got it? You're ready to kind of start recording some of these lines?
Yeah, so I feel like she obviously is like hopeless. Obviously,
Yes.
she is on the bridge ready to jump in front of a train because of her life and her body being the reason why she can't, find love. If you don't know anything about Undead Unluck, it's like rogue situation. If you touch
it's
her,
kind of almost worse, I guess.
it is worse
If you touch her,
in any capacity.
you are affected by her unluck, which means that you will encounter and meet the worst bad luck.
And also, death. Okay, but what do you think about Andy?
Andy's just a super carefree guy. I mean, he doesn't really have to worry about anything. He doesn't have to care about anything.
He was almost excited.
I mean, of course, yeah, he's super excited because he's bored and he's been trying to find a way to die. So a character who is afraid of nothing because nothing can hurt them, harm them, kill them, and who's excited in this moment because there might actually be, for the first time in his whole life, there might actually be
a solution
to that
his
problem. Yeah. All right.
This is going to be very difficult. Okay, again, we're not professionals.
No, not at all.
So this is going to be rough, but I'm excited to try it with you. This will be fun.
I'm excited too, but just prepare for the worst. The pros are the pros for a reason, okay? Now it's time to record our lines. Let's cut to a montage. This is the most embarrassing part.
Brap, brap, brap.
Hey. I just sound like Kyman. Guide me, direct me. I sound like Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Contracted a computer. Contracted computer.
It's so hard. I sound like Muscle Man now.
Like the one in this manga. Is it bad?
Got it.
So bad. Huh? What? I know you're usually used to swallowing and not spitting.
That's fucking crazy.
Did I do that? It's so shitty. How did this happen?
It is what it is. I still feel like it's Tim the Toolman Taylor meets Muscle Man. That's Tool Time. What's up?
Yeah, that's why I've got to die. I mean it.
People nowadays have been getting kind of stale, you know? Well. Oh, God, I coughed.
That's why I've got to die. No, I don't even know who that was.
This is hard.
Pause it.
A deadly disease transmitted by touch? Oh, God. People nowadays... Whatever.
It's coming.
We're working at that.
And that's a wrap.
And that's a wrap. Now let's take that and try to make it work in post. All right, I'm going to take you through the post-production side of things. This is a couple days later. Essentially, what I wanted to do was separate the dialogue from everything else, the music, the sounds. And in order to do that, I basically had to build the scene back up. These are all of the sounds that I had to individually put back in. So this is the scene with the original audio track muted. So you can hear the sipping of the boba. You can hear the ruffle of the cloth. You hear the music in the background. That music was copyright-free music I found on YouTube. And as a matter of fact, a lot of these sounds are copyright-free sounds from YouTube. I know there's a lot of sites that you can use, but you got to pay for those. And we're already paying for so much stuff. It's not exactly like the one in the original track or in the original scene, but I got as close as I could with the amount of time that I had and the resources that I had. Right here is the train. The first train sound is just the sound of a train passing by. This train sound here is the sound of a train screeching and hitting its brakes. And I had to get creative with a lot of these sounds too. For example, there's a moment towards the end where she is shivering. She is, I guess, reacting to what just happened. This is what it sounded like originally. So you hear that bell and the trembling, the sound of the trembling. So with a lot of these sounds, I kind of had to think about the closest thing that it sounded to or what the sound reminded me of. After listening to it over and over and over, I finally realized, you know what? It kind of sounds like bubbles. So I found this and sped it up, pitched it up, and the same thing with the bell. So I found a bell here. I don't remember if I had to pitch that up or down, but I did have to add like a warble effect to it to get that like, wow. So here's the original again. And here's my version. A little different, but I think it still gets the same feeling across. And for this portion here too, so the original sound sounds like this. Another sound that I couldn't think of right away, but after thinking about it a bit and listening to it over again, it kind of sounded to me like a plasma sci-fi gun. So the original again is, and then the version with the sound that I used is. That one's pretty close. You're not going to hear it yet. You got to wait till the final result, which is coming up soon. But I also ended up pitching my voice down a bit. I just really feel like it fits the character so much more. But I might have gone a little overboard. Just a bit of fair warning. And I want to say too that I am not an audio engineer. I did my absolute best when it came to like equalizing and compressing everything. Anyway, this is only a 1:36 scene. I can't imagine having to do this for an entire episode. That's what's been so fun about this video so far, learning and finding new appreciation for things throughout this entire process. Sound design is an amazing thing, an incredible thing, and a beautiful thing. Sound designers are really artists. Truly. All right, well, that's it for the post-production side of things. The only thing left to do now is show you the final result. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The result. Oh, man. This is gonna be bad.
Hey, that's dangerous.
I just wanted a shot at a passionate romance like the one in this manga. But thanks to this body, that'll never happen.
Huh?
That's why I've gotta die. Listen! If you touch my body, you'll, contract an incurable disease! I mean it! I've got nothing good to live for with a body like this. That's why I've got to die. Huh? How did this happen? Did I do that?
A deadly disease transmitted by touch? I've never heard of it. Sick. People nowadays have been getting kind of stale, you know? Well, my hand was all over you. What's gonna happen? Where's it gonna hurt? The outside? Maybe from within?
It's coming.
Huh?
My unluck!
Huh?
Well, we did it, or gave it our best shot. What were some things that you didn't expect or anticipate being a challenge, but ended up being a challenge throughout?
I mean, a largely part of it is how we recorded it. It's like keeping the voice. That was the probably the hardest part for me, because like it's different than just doing like an accent or like an impression of a character. It like comes from you and you have to make up nuances for the character yourself, instead of being told that these are the nuances. And I think that's what was so hard. It's not like written in a script. Sometimes it is like nasally type voice, or like we want this from you, we want that from you. That was the hardest part here. I guess not hearing like the scene completely play out like in my ear, like you know, it's like a scene is a conversation between you and a character. If you're not you're doing a monologue pretty much. But that was like one of the hardest parts, I think, for me.
I learned how hard it was to create a voice for a character, because again, like it can sound like one thing in your head and you can believe in that thing, but then when it comes out, it's not that thing. And that's such a uniquely frustrating experience. So I practiced a little bit, like rehearsed a little bit. And in the case of Andy, like he's a character with a lot of character. He's got a lot of things that stand out about him. He's got a lot to him. He's got very distinct traits that make him who he is. So you want to play into all these things, but then the time comes and I don't know, I just didn't feel like I was quite able to match what I was hearing in my head or what I was feeling from like seeing this character. I did my best But this is something that I give professional VAs a lot of credit for. Saying certain lines in a voice can be easy and other lines can be extremely challenging. So it's also like finding something and landing somewhere that doesn't affect your voice, that does allow you to do this for long sessions and multiple episodes and multiple seasons. And so that was something that I think I took from the night before when I rehearsed and brought into today and how I would do it. I'm not a professional. This is not a tutorial. Do not take any of my advice. But I just started taking like deeper breaths in and really like feeling the air in my lungs before I would deliver these lines. And I would almost feel like I was delivering them like more from like my diaphragm, my chest, you know, instead of before I felt like I was pushing a lot of it through my throat. I had a, what was it called?
Throat coat.
A throat coat after too, which I think helped me. Got my throat coated, you know what I'm saying? And then I had tea. Nothing but respect for the professionals who do this. They are pros for a reason, and we did not want to make this video in any way to take away from their amazing work.
No, I mean,
anything to like applaud them even more for the work that they do.
Yeah, and it's always been something that me and Josh have like been curious about with both of like I think our performing backgrounds. Like how different is it for me like doing a stage play, a musical versus like sitting in front of a microphone, analyzing a character and honing the voice and everything. It's like very, very difficult.
It can definitely feel outside of your comfort zone. A lot of it felt outside of my comfort zone.
Anything performative, like, you know, like writing jokes for the first time and saying them.
Oh, yeah.
And, like singing on a stage.
Saying something that you confidently believe to be funny in front of people that don't laugh is a hit to the old ego if I ever experienced one.
Yeah, so I think if you are passionate about it, do it.
I also want to ask everybody who has watched up to this point what your thoughts are about the final result. Be nice, be gentle, be easy.
And again, we don't expect it. We don't
be hard.
Yeah, we don't expect it to be good.
Let us know your thoughts. Let us know how you think that we did. If you're just a viewer of dubs, or if you've ever had any experience voice acting, then we would love to hear from you too, especially from someone who has done that, because there are things that we can definitely learn and I think would like to learn.
For sure. Yeah, again, nothing but respect.
That's going to do it for this video, but this was actually just one segment from a much longer episode themed around the topic of dubs. In the full episode, we play a game where we have to guess the character from their dub voice alone, and the loser of that game has to improvise their own 4Kids anime opening of a series chosen by the winner. We also talk about some of our favorite dubs and have an entire conversation about one of the most infamous dubs of all time, Ghost Stories. To see the full episode for absolutely free, all you got to do is go to stack.com or click the link in the description below and use code VOLUME1 to sign up. We'd love to see your reaction and hear your thoughts on some of the other segments, especially the improvised 4Kids opening. So check out Stacked and leave us a comment while you're there. Thank you so much for watching.